Students, welcome to another English class today. And this moment we are going to be looking at one of the punctuation marks in English language, which is comma. Comma. In English language, we use comma to embellish our write-up, our essay, and all of that. And it is an important mark that we must know how to use. And that is why at this moment, we want to look at comma. What is a comma? A comma is a punctuation mark used to indicate a slight or brief pause or break between parts of the sentence. That is, anytime you are writing, even as we speak, before we write, we first of all speak. So as we speak, the way we take a brief pause when we are talking, in the same way we take a brief pause when we are writing to indicate that pause. And that is why when writing, you have to observe this comma and the punctuation mark. That is why we want to look at it today. How do we make use of comma? Because we can use this comma in various ways, in so many ways. That's why we want to look at the usage of comma in English language. And to start with, the first way we use comma is that we use it to set off an introductory yes, that is in affirmative or negative or in the negative way when starting a sentence. What do I mean by this? Let's look at the example. Look at this sentence. Maybe you want to answer a question that needs you to say yes, or you want to say no. When you say that yes or no, before you continue the sentence, you must put comma after the yes or no. And that is why we say we use it to set off introductory yes or no. That yes is affirmative, while the no is negative. So when you say yes, maybe somebody has asked you a question. Did you go to school yesterday? And you want to say either yes or no. You say yes. There will be a comma before you say I went or no, I didn't go. So look at this sentence. Yes, hard work is the backbone of success. In that sentence, there is a comma after yes before you continue the latter part. Then look at another sentence. No, he did not pass English last year. That no, after no, there will be a comma. So that is the first way we use a comma, which I know you are familiar with before, but we are just taking the time to upgrade ourselves, to update our knowledge about the usage of comma. Another one is that we use comma to separate items in a list. That is, when you have a long list of items and then you want to list them, you want to highlight them one after the other. You have to, after the first item, you put a comma, the second or the third, and then a usage of conjunction before the last one. So that is to use it to separate items in a list. For instance, look at this example. The bag contains biros, there will be a comma, pencils, exercise books, and rulers. You cannot just lump them together, because if you do that, it will be incoherent, it will be illogical, it will be unreasonable. The sentence will be jam-packed, it will be lump-sided. That's why you have to use comma to make it meaningful and readable. That's that on the point on separating items. You can also have other examples there. Then let's go to the next one. We can also use comma to mark off conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs such as however, furthermore, besides, nevertheless, moreover, meanwhile, and other words and phrases which include to, in fact, for instance, and so on. That is, when you say conjunctive adverbs, that is, these are words that we use to link a particular sentence to a previous one, or to link a particular paragraph to another one. Let's look at the way they are used in an example. Look at this sentence. The presidential election witnessed a large turnout of voters. Full stop. That's the sentence. But there is going to be another one to link up this second one with the previous one. The first sentence is the presidential election was witnessed a large turnout of voters. That's positive. Look at the second one. However, there will be a comma after however, the free and fair election was annulled by the man who organized it. You can see that the first sentence is positive, while the second one is negative. So why we use however there is however is a word that indicates that this particular election, even though it was it witnessed a large turnout, but it was not free and fair. That's why we use the word however. However is a conjunctive adverb that actually indicates something negative. But after it, there must be a comma. So that is the usage of however there. Let's go to another sentence, another example. Look at this one. In fact, the mathematician holds a degree in philosophy. Here we see in fact, in, one word, fact, another word. Take note of this word. It is not two words. Yes, it is not one word. Some students, anytime they want to write, they usually write it and lump it together. It is to be separated. There are two words. So you should anytime you write, you don't write it together. So after it, there must be a comma, because it's another phrases. It's a phrase. So anytime you write it, always put a comma after it and then don't write it together. So you can see in fact, the mathematician holds a degree in philosophy. Here, when you say somebody is a mathematician, yet he holds a degree in philosophy, that is a kind of it's surprising for a mathematician to hold a degree in philosophy. That's why we say, in fact, it is surprising that a mathematician can hold a degree in philosophy. Look at another example. He too has been suspended. He, too, has been suspended. So take note of the usage of this last second point. And then we want to go to another one. We use comma to mark off direct quotations from such expression like he said, she replied, he fumed, he exclaimed, she argued, etc. What we are saying there is that we use it to separate direct quotations. That is what somebody has said, the word of the speaker himself or herself. Anytime you are quoting it directly, there should be a comma to separate it. Look at the example in this sentence. I will never do that again, he said. That is, I will never do that again. You can see, apart from that, a comma separates it. It is also inside what we call quotation mark. Here, it shows that it is the expression made by someone who another person is quoting directly. I will never do that again, he said. That's another example. Now, let's look at another one. My goodness, she exclaimed. Here, somebody is exclaiming my goodness. It is the word of the speaker, quoted directly by somebody who is reporting him or her, who is making a claim of what the person, somebody has said. So that is that about to mark off direct quotations from such expression like that we have mentioned. Then we have another one, the usage of comma. We can also use it, it is used immediately after the salutation and the complementary closing phrase of every letter. What we mean by that is that, you'll be writing your formal letter, your informal letter. For instance, when you want to the complementary close, the salutation and all of that, even the salutation and the compliment. Look at the salutation. You can have dear sir. After dear sir, comma, dear madam, comma, dear my dear father, comma. These are salutation, which you all know, and they must be there. Anytime you don't put all this little question, they make you to lose mark, and they make you to be like somebody who doesn't know what he or she is doing. Then for complementary close, you can see yours faithfully, comma, yours sincerely, comma, yours obediently, comma. Always put them. They are very, very essential. That's that about salutation and the complementary close. Then we go to another one. We use comma to mark off contrasted sentences elements. Sentence elements. And this to mark off contrasted sentence elements. Example. Rapala, not Felix, was responsible for the damage. Here we have two characters in this sentence. Rapala is somebody, Felix is another person. But look at it. We say to mark up contrasted sentences, sentence element. Where we have Rapala is somebody, then Felix is another person. Rapala is not the one. Rapala is the one that actually did the damage, but not Felix. That's why after Rapala there is a comma, not Felix, emphasizing that it is not Felix who was responsible for the damage. Here, the contrasted sentence element is not Felix.
that this Felix is not the one that did it. That's what we are saying here. We can equally say that Rapala was responsible for the damage. But just because we are emphasizing that it's not Felix, that's why we say Rapala, comma, not Felix. So take note of that. That is to mark up contrasted sentence elements. That's that about that. Look at another one. The corrupt politicians, not the military opportunists, are responsible for our suffering. The corrupt politicians. Of course, today when you look at our country, the politicians are the one responsible, even though the military personnel too, they have done their work. We can see that usually it is the politicians. That's why we say the corrupt politicians, comma, not the military opportunists, are responsible for our suffering. That's that about to mark off contrasted sentence element. When we go to another one, to mark off a parenthesis in a sentence. What do you mean by a parenthesis? A parenthesis, like, you know, these brackets. That's like that's what we mean by parenthesis. Something you use to set off, like a bracket, you know, in a sentence. So instead of using bracket, we can use comma. The comma and the parenthesis, they mean the same thing. They do the same function. They perform the same work. So instead of using comma, or instead of using that bracket, we can use comma. That's what we mean by parenthesis. So look at this example. Dr. Simon, comma, our economics teacher, is seriously ill. Dr. Simon, comma, our economics teacher. Dr. Simon and our economics teacher is the same person. But you know, we cannot just say Dr. Simon, our economics teacher, like that. You know, there should be a pause. Dr. Simon, comma, our economics teacher is seriously ill. We can remove our economics teacher and the sentence will still make meaning. So to mark up parentheses in a sentence, that comma there, the comma after Simeon, after Dr. Simeon, and the one after teacher is what we mean by parentheses, to mark up parentheses. Then another example, my country, Nigeria. My country, comma, Nigeria is multi-tribal. My country, Nigeria means the same thing. So instead of just writing it without comma, that's why we put the comma. So Nigeria can be in a bracket in that sentence, and we'll still make meaning. You can either use the comma or bracket. That's that about to mark up a parenthesis in a sentence. We must take note of all these ways we have mentioned, that is that the way we use comma. And I want to tell you, in English language, when you use this punctuation mark correctly, the way it should be used, it will make your write-up to be organized, you know, arranged well, and then meaningful, readable for the reader. In fact, it will make you to be a kind of a person that knows what he or she is doing. Now, because of our time, the little ones I've given to you, you go through them, and then there's another one I will have mentioned, but because of time, this one, you already know them. It's about when you want to write your letter, your address in letter. You know, after each of the line, there should be a comma. So take note, go and read, check, and apply all these nugget that I've given you about how you can write, use comma correctly. And because of that, because of our time, look at the activity I've given to you. You are going to correct the following sentences, putting the right punctuation mark, especially the comma I've taught you, in the right places, from number 1 to 5. And by the time we meet next, we'll continue from where we are stopped. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.